Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another stream and yet another video. Another chapter in what seems to be an ongoing, very long chapter of the Battle of the F-4 Phantoms. That's the Tamiya kit and the Academy kit. Right here, we got the Tamiya F-4B and the Academy's F-4D. Building them up at the same time and comparisons of the two builds as we go along. All that fun stuff. So, what are we doing today? Today we're doing tail fins and more painting. As requested, more painting. So let's go. Okay, so last time we painted this little baby gray, and you might notice he's got a black nose. I didn't bother showing you guys painting the black nose. It's very simple. I just masked off around the cone and a little strip up top there, and I just hit it with Tamiya flat black paint. Done. Nice and simple, easy. The other thing I did off camera was I painted the back part of the wings white. Okay. These are white, and these were actually molded in white, but still I primered them and painted them, and they're going to go in eventually. They're going to go in like this and sit in there kind of like that. Okay, so this particular style, the navy plane, he's pretty much done. I'm going to seal this in with a gloss coat, just to seal the paint and get that ready for decals and stuff in the future when we get there. Meanwhile, we did that yesterday, and now, yesterday afternoon, boom, we have the Tamiya kit. This one has the Mr. Color number 310 brown, and that's what we got going on here. The next step on this guy is to do the camouflage, which we're going to get to today, but I need to start with getting the tail fins assembled. The tail fins on these planes are not just a one-piece thing like you might see on a typical F-15 model. These guys, they for some reason, they want to put them together in like 3 different pieces. So I want to get those assembled and get those painted also. So this one I've taped on the wingtips and the control surfaces because I want to get them painted at the same time, so I make sure everything is the exact same color, and which is why I also want to do the tail fin. Before I get into the greens on this, I got to do the brown on the tail fin. Why? Because if I just do the tail fin and I just primer it and then I lay the green down on it, you know, well, maybe you don't know, but I know there's going to be a slight variation in the color of green, because the green will be going over gray and not over brown, and that's just going to change it a little bit. No matter how much paint I lay down, there's going to be a slight variation in the tone, and so I want it all the same. So I'm laying it down just like on these guys, which are going to go here. I put down the brown first because I want it the same. Okay, so that's that. So let's grab our instructions and grab some parts, and we're going to build a couple of tail fins. Okay, so we have to find the instructions. Let's start with the Academy one, why not? So here's our instructions. Our Academy kit is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. Okay, so we got to grab our G tree, our H tree, and even our R tree. And ours, I think, is going to be clear, because there's going to be a clear little lens that goes on there. But anyway, let's go. Let's see here. We're going to find our G and our R. Yeah. or H, sorry. There we go. Here's our H right here. And we want H5, obviously this big piece right here. Okay. And we want H6 also. Okay. Anything else? We need our G tree. We need G. There's our big G tree. And we want G37. We have a bunch of variations of the top of the tail fin on this. This is quite interesting. But we want 37. And we want 25. We have 25 and 26 look very similar, yet they are different. We want 25. It's clear that Academy has done these sprues to do different variations of this plane, and so obviously they have brought out different kits. They just don't mention it, and they're using the same sprues, and you don't even know. Okay, I'm going to change the camera for you so you can see a little bit better the little detail things I'm doing here. So let me change that for you. Here we go. Alright, it's a tiny little triangular piece here to clean up and get prepared for going on the kit. I think this is just, that's going to go right at the front of this. So that's going to go right in there, like that. So typical Academy, they don't really, what they show in the instructions here is that you put this down on the fuselage and put the thing down in front of it. There isn't really any. There is a notch, and they show the notch there, but where does this go? I guess it's supposed to go like this. They're assuming you've already put the tail on, the underside piece on, like this. Like that, and then this is going to go in like that, which covers up that slot completely. See that notch there? It's completely covered. So, yeah, that's that. So I'm going to glue this onto the nose, onto the front of this. Just making sure I got it lined up and that it's happy in there. And that it's straight. That's obviously very important. So let that sit like that for a little bit as we work on the other parts. Cleaning these up. Now you guys should take note, I have primered these pieces already. I sprayed a lot of the Academy kit parts with primer, the Mr. Surfacer, long ago, and it's just been sitting in the box with a layer of primer on all of them. And I've got a little bit of a seam right here that I think I want to do that, scrape away, get that a little bit more flat. There we go. Okay, this is going to go in like that. I suppose I do have the option, I could make it a little bit askew just to show that it's not quite 100%. And I think I will do that. I do enjoy doing that with these. When I have the opportunity to actually put this as a separate piece, I like to make it so it's not 100% straight, just to show when you look at the kit that, oh hey, that's a separate piece that actually possibly could have moved at one point and turned as a little feature, you know. The other thing is we have our top piece, and that's going to slot in right here. It's a bit of a tight fit, but that's alright. And then this is going to go in like that, and yeah, that's going to look good. I do have a nub I need to clean up, so let's put some glue on this. Get this laid down on there, just like that. Okay. Down there. I'm going to clean up the nub here. Too much glue, I know it's going to squeeze out the sides. So I'm going to make it just a little askew, just a hair. So it's just not quite perfectly straight. I don't know if you guys can really tell that just that little bit of an angle I've put it at right there. You see just a little bit of an angle. Just to show it's not a robot. Just it's a little something visually. I know that probably the controls in the aircraft are probably going to ensure that it's dead straight, but it's just a little visual thing that's going to add to that, in my opinion. While I'm at it, I might as well glue the two pieces that make up our fins. Okay. So let's grab those, and those are off of our C tree, which are these two guys right here and here. In anticipation that we're going to be putting these on soon, I might as well get them on there, get these things put together. Okay? Because why not? On. Okay, let's glue these together. So this one is going to go with this one, like that. Now you see, I don't know if you guys can tell the difference in the tone of you can see the different color. This one's painted and I didn't bother. This is just molded in white here. So after gluing these together, I am going to have to glue them, or after gluing them together, I am going to have to repaint. Which is why sometimes waiting until it's assembled to paint is a better idea. Because that looks very different. This one also, you can tell it looked very different. So I'm going to have to lay down some white on that side of them. I did the tops, right, but I didn't do the bottom, and so it looks funny. You can really tell it's two different pieces, and that's not right. That's not the way it's supposed to be. So I'll put these aside and I'll work on those later. So that's our tail fin for the Academy kit. So this is already primered. I just need to hit this with some gray, the light gray, to get this the same color as the plane, and that's all I got to do with that one. Okay, but in the meantime, we'll let that dry, and I'll just put that there, and let's grab our Tamiya instructions. So our Tamiya tail fin, I'm going to find it in the book here. Tamiya tail fin is a little more involved. Typical Tamiya, we have lots of parts to assemble. Okay, so we're going to start off with, wow, we need our M tree, we need our Q tree, M and Q. So let's get this, our Academy kit, put over here, M and Q. Well, that's P. That's that one. There's our D trees. Here we go. Here's M. C. And here's Q. Okay. So we need M, 2, and 3, which I guess are these two. Yeah, 2 and 3. Start with these. I'm not sure why Tamiya has gone to such great lengths to make this kit into so many pieces. It's seemingly unnecessary. Why does the tail fin have like so many parts to it? Good morning, Mega Boy. Good morning. Nice to see you again. Good old Mega Boy always says hello. Always says hello. Never says anything else. Do you, Mega Boy? You never say anything else. You say, it's like you say hello and then you leave. I did my duty. I said hi. Yeah. Okay, next we have Q, 2 and 3. It's our big pieces, I assume. 2 and 3, yes. Looks like we're probably, I think we're going to need this piece also, but maybe just not yet. complicated looking wings. It's not even a wing. Rear stabilizer, I believe they call it. And you see, and Tamiya doesn't have the fin as a separate piece. Of all the things that they could have made a separate piece, they didn't. Okay, so what do they want us to do? I'm going to take this piece and this piece and glue it together like that. Right? Oh, they want me to cut this off. Cut this tip off. Okay. This tip, they want that cut off. Shows us right there in the instructions. Let me change. Okay. It says in the instructions right here to cut this little tip off. Right here. So, I guess that's what we're doing. There we go. Make sure that's clean cut. Okay. Now we take this and it glues on like that. Okay, we can do that. Alright, so we have that. And on this side, it doesn't look like we've got anything to cut. Let's just put this on like that. Got a little bit of a nub I need to clean up there. So I want to clean that up. Alright, so that's that. This is probably garbage. Now we're going to take our two halves and put them together. Like this. It's a little bit strange, they're not full halves. The way they have it kind of notched together. Just hold that for a sec. Kind of go around all my edges and make sure it's all going to be one piece. we go. So we've got that part done. Put that there. And let's see. This is finished, so let's flip this over and continue. Tamiya likes to put this together in many pieces. So we have to grab our P tree. P18 and 19, that's going to go on top of this. P. Where's my P? C. P. And an N. No, there's my double D's. My A. Here's my P. P. I went and painted these white, not realizing what they're for. I thought this was going to be a bottom of the, like, underneath the bottom of the fuselage, like maybe some kind of a radar pod or something like that. Shows you how wrong I was. So for consistency, I'm going to have to primer this. So this little piece here needs to go on here. Why they decide, oh, let's make them assemble this, when we could have just molded it as one piece. You know, why be, you know, why this side? Why did they do that? They could have just molded it as one piece. You know, why do you have to put this on? I didn't have to put this side on, but this side I did. Why do they do stuff like that? I don't understand their logic behind making you do stuff like that. And that's going to slot in just like that. So I'm going to grab this glue. Well, this is where the variations in the planes really show up. Okay. Because our tails are very different. Okay, the tops of our tails are very different. Okay. See that? They are totally different. So that's going to be a big variation in our B and our D. Actually, I'm going to pull this off. I'm going to see if one of the variations on the Academy kit will work. Where's my sprue that has those? There we go. Because we have a couple of other ones that look identical, like very close to it. Like this one looks very close, almost the same, almost identical. Okay. We do have this one, same one as this. It's right there. But Academy doesn't make you put that piece on. So I'm going to see, does this line up? Because if this will line up, I'm going to put that on there. If that lines up on there, I'm going to use it. It does not. This piece is much fatter. The thickness, the width is much thicker here. And that's not going to work for me. As close as it may be, it's just going to look weird. It is very close, but because it's fat, it doesn't work. That doesn't work for me. So I would like to have used it, but I can't. The Academy kit, the tail fin is thicker, and therefore it's not usable, and that's a shame. Yeah, even kind of just feeling right here, this is a thicker fin than on this. There's just a little more girth in here than on the Tamiya kit. Now you see the Tamiya kit, we don't have an insert to put here, but on the Academy kit we do. I want to find that piece on the Academy kit. This is junk. That was R11. Let me try and find the R tree on the Academy kit. I think it is a clear piece. Let's find my clear pieces here from the two kits. Is this R? Yeah, this is R. We actually have two number 11s. It's almost like they anticipate you losing a piece. So that's going to go in there later on. Okay, so there's our tail fins. They're finished. Okay. So, first thing I need to do is I need to primer this one. I need to primer the Tamiya kit first, and then we'll get some paint laid down. Let's make sure my glue is all closed up. Okay, so let's get primer. Sorry about that. Shaking the can right by the microphone. One side. Now, like I said, this is already primered, so I don't have to worry about it on that one, and that's fine. That's good. So while that's drying, let's look at my camouflage pattern, because that's what we're doing today. That's the main focus today. It's camouflage. That's this. Camouflage. Yay! Yeah. Got two sides to show me what I'm supposed to do with camouflage, and of course I have to do the camouflage on the tail fin, right? So, which is why I primered that. So I'm going to show you guys. You want to see the whole process of doing the camo, and so I'm going to show you that. It's going to take an hour, it's going to take 2 hours, whatever it takes. We're going to do it. Okay, so since it's going to take so long, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button down below, okay? Help me out here. And then head over to my Twitch and subscribe to me on Twitch. For the camouflage, this is what I'm going to be using. AK's plastic putty, okay? You guys have seen me, if you watch my channel and you've seen any of my tank builds, you've seen me use this before. I used this on the Korean K2 Black Panther. Was it Black Panther or just Panther? It's a K2 Panther tank. Anyway, I used that on my camouflage for that, and I used it on another tank, and I don't remember what tank that was. So, it comes in this plastic bag inside this tin. This stuff is pretty good. It does have a bit of an oily residue, so I should be wearing gloves when I use this stuff because it feels a bit oily. It feels oily on your skin. It doesn't leave any oil residue on the model, which is nice. It doesn't do that. But on your skin, yeah, it feels a bit, your fingers get oily if you try and play around with it without gloves on. Okay, so we got our primer done on this. It's dry already on that side, so I got a primer this side. And that'll do that. I'm gonna fire up my air compressor and get that ready. I think what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put down the gray paint on this guy first, just to get him done. I think the tail's, yeah, the tail's got to be gray. Technically, the particular pattern I'm doing on this guy is it's got to be yellow. The very tip has to be yellow up top, and the rest of it's black. So I'm not going to be doing gray on that. Well, actually, yes, I do. I need, just looking at the detail of the thing, there's a little strip up front here that's going to be gray. So I need to do that first. Just that little tip. It kind of sucks that I actually have to load this into my airbrush just to do with that tiny little strip of gray. But it is what it is. Just to do a super tiny little strip like that. Oh well. As you guys saw before, this is already thinned. I just need a tiny little bit. To just do that tip. Just do that. I only need a tiny bit in my brush. That's just that's way more than I really need for this. Okay, and I don't even have my camera set up over here. Hold on, hold up. I gotta set this up for you guys. Let's see here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There we go, painting cam. Woohoo! Hi. A little blurry right now, but whatever. So I just need to do this little tip here. It's just a little tacky, but it's okay. I just need to do this little, just that tip. And that's it. That's all I need to do for the gray. It's just this very front edge here that I needed to do. That's it. There we go. That's it. That's done. Okay, next is black on that, so. So yeah, that's it for the gray. And yeah, that's it for the gray. The rest of it needs to be black. So let me clean this out. Since we're doing different colors, maybe I'll do the white on those two fins while I'm at it. Let's see. Still had lots in there. Like I said, it was way more than I needed. That's okay. So that's the gray. Let's get my pipette here. Clean this out a little bit. I'm not going to do a full cleaning. Normally I would want to. Where's my brush? Where's my cleaning brush? Oh, that's right, I did drop it on the floor here somewhere. My brush fell on the floor last night. I accidentally knocked it on the floor and never bothered picking it up. And it's gone. Oh well, it's gone. So, bear with me a moment. I gotta grab my collection of brushes. I got a whole bunch of these little brushes on Amazon, really cheap. So I don't care if I lose one. I don't care if the bristles get destroyed. They're kind of cheap and garbagey anyway, so I use them just for cleaning out my airbrush. I don't actually paint with these brushes. It's kind of ironic. So I'm just going to clean up the brush here. I want to get all the white, get all this gray out of there a little bit, but I'm not going to pull the needle out and clean it like I normally would. That's good enough, I believe. Good enough for me. Okay, now let's get the white. I'm going to do the white. I'm going to do my little fins. Do these guys. While I have it on my mind, this is just the Tamiya X2. That's all it is. I don't have to do too much with it. Tempted to just hold it here and do it, but I really should not. So let's just grab a little strip of tape here and I'll put it down over here. Just so they don't blow away on me. You guys can kind of see what I'm doing here, but I will change the cam so you can see. Just put a little bit of white. Doink. That's all I need. Just to get some consistency in the color on those stabilizers. Are they stabilizers? No, the stabilizer is the AKA tail fin. They're not elevators. Elevators are wings. Control surfaces. There we go. Alright, so I'm just going to do these two little guys. Little bit, tiny little bit of white. Just make sure I got white coming out of there. And let's just make sure they're the same. Okay, you can press down just to get only air to help dry it out a little bit. If that's something you want to do, if you don't want to wait, you can help give it a little bit of a rush and get that painted up. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a challenge. I'm going to grab my little headset here to give me a different angle. angle on the lighting. Okay. Okay. That's it for that. Let that dry. Okay. I let that dry. Now clean up my brush. Now I don't want any paint left in here. When I start to paint our tail fin on the Tamiya kit, because our Korean plane needs to have that brown color on the tail, on the stabilizer. Okay. Get all my white paint out of there. So the next step is brown. So we got this primered, so now I want to get this thing painted brown. Now I want to try and see if maybe I can do that. That gives me something I can hold on to it and paint it, and I can do both sides without having to lay it down. That's going to help a little bit. The other thing you could do is there's a little pin here you might be able to grab onto with that, but it's kind of pokey and yeah, it's not very stable. So let's just shove that in there, and that's just a little bit better. A little more sturdy. Okay. Brown. We need brown. This is the same brown that I've been using. All right. Again, because I'm only doing this, I don't need a lot. So just a little bit into the cup is going to be enough. Just a little bit is all I need. Okay, change it again. Here we are. So again, I've got probably too much, more than I need. Okay, this side, let that first coat dry a little bit while I do this side. getting there. Getting there, you got to go at all the different angles to make sure you get coverage everywhere, right? Like, see up top here, I don't have a lot of coverage right on the very top edge, so you got to hit it at different angles to make sure you get it. Sometimes that takes a bit of practice to get that. Okay, now I'm going to go this way on it so that I don't just have streaky. I'll go a little bit heavier. That gives me a good even coverage. Oh no. Okay. There we go. If you notice any streaking while you're doing it, that means you've got to be a little bit tighter on your passes. And I think we're doing good here. Just a little bit, make sure I got that top edge. I believe we are done. All right, there we go. Okay. Okay, so that's that. So I'm going to let this sit and dry. So I'm going to clean the brush out. All right, it's now time to get prepared for the green. So I have my template, I have my putty, and I have my airplane. And I'm going to put my gloves on. Gloves, which have been sitting here for a long time, probably very dusty. Just make sure I don't want to get a bunch of dust on the kit. So there we go. All right. So there's obviously a lot more in this bag than what I really need. So you just pull out a bit of a blob of it as a starting point. Okay, and we're going to make some noodles. That's basically what we're doing. Pull it out. We're basically going to be masking off all the brown areas, right? So if I take my kit like this, change the camera so you can see. Here we are. Okay, so we'll start with this little part right there. Okay, that's going to be, it looks like it's roughly around this area. Okay, so I'm going to take my noodle, I'm going to make it so that it's not quite so much. And this stuff, you want it thin enough. Remember, what we're doing is we're preserving the brown. So that's what we're covering, okay? And I can tell that it kind of goes onto this little fin here. So we're going to start like this. And then if we press it down, it should stick. Okay, and then kind of hold it, come back around with it, and got a bit of a bend like that, and then come back, and then done. It's a little bit difficult because this is not actually glued on, but there's our template. It's not quite exactly the same. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be perfect. We can come over here to this side here, and we already know it's going to come along here. So we can grab a little bit more. Let's grab a little bit more off of this. Okay, and we'll stretch this out. See, I'm just flattening it out. Might be a little hard to see. I'm going to get it roughly that length, and we're going to go like this. We want it a little bit not perfectly straight, so like this. We can even add a little variation in it. Like that. Come along. And do that. Excess can just, I kind of screwed that up, but the beauty of this stuff is, oh no, it's so thin, well, let's just put more down. Okay, just kind of do that, flatten it in, done. I'm gonna hold it while I pull off this excess here off the edge. There we go. And there's our line. Okay. Next, let's take a look at our tail. Okay. We don't have any brown over on this side. This is all green. Okay. But we have this over here. So we got a little section we're going to preserve here. So let's grab another piece. This. Stretch it out. We're already practically at the shape that we need, right? And it's going to go like that. Just like that. And you can even utilize the fact that you've got extra to kind of flip it over, stretch it, and it's fully masked. I don't even have to put any tape there, and I've got the preserved section. So that can just sit. Now you see how I have the extra here? Okay. Let me get a spot on the camera. You can see all this extra. You can just fold that over like that, and that'll sit and it'll stay. There we go. So I'll just put this aside. So we're not ready for that yet. Okay. Let's start with the back here. Okay. So we have a pretty interesting looking pattern going on here. That's around in front of the engines here, and what looks like maybe in front of the tail fin. So let's flip this page over and have a look at our reference. Let's see, is this going up on the tail fin or what's going on? It looks like on this side it does actually come up the tail fin a little bit. This side we've got more green, it's a little bit back further. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't need to match it exactly as the picture shows. It's all up to you. I am basically just trying to make it so it's pretty close. I'm happy if we get it pretty close. Okay, so we're gonna press that down on there, coming back, this. Then we're going to stretch and we're going to come around and come back like this. The beauty of this stuff is you can manipulate it in many different ways, however you want. And that's how we got it. Okay, so this is not going to be painted, right? Although there is a little section back here that will be, just in front of our little masked off area. Okay, so for that, I'll just do this, kind of shape it, pre-shape it the way I want, so that all I got to do is kind of just stick it on here. What am I doing here? I'm thinking backwards. Go. All right, now something I'm noticing, I've got overspray dust on this that I should have wiped off first before doing all this. So let's just do this, give this a little bit of a wipe down first, get rid of my overspray. Which makes sense. I was finding that this wasn't really sticking as well as it should, like it has in the past. And that makes sense now that I realize I didn't wipe this down after I had painted it. So, yeah, there we go. So, next we're going to come over on this side, down over here. So, I want to kind of come to this. Come up over there. This. Come back down. This side, this is all masked off. So, to remember, this is brown, this is green, right? The beauty of this stuff, you can take regular masking tape and put it right over top of it and help. It helps you with your thing. So let's work on this. Okay, so we got this done, this is here. Okay, this is done, the back is now done, that's masked. So let's start working on this part of the wing. We have a big brown section that's coming through this section here, right? So let's put this line going across here. Let's grab a good chunk so we can get a nice long noodle going. Just kind of roll it out, flatten it a little bit, just flatten, pull, flatten, pull. This stuff is great like that. Okay, and that way we get a piece that's as long as the wing like that, and that's great. Now, I'm just going to double check whereabouts on the fin level this is going to be. So it's going to start here and come out. Okay. Right about there. Sticking to my glove instead of the model is not what I want. And we're going to kind of just do this along the edge as we go. And there we go. Now, another thing you can do, once this is settled down a little bit, as you can see, this kind of stuff, gravity takes place and it kind of levels a little bit. And you get a really just a smooth line. You can go in and take something like your tweezers, if you want more, a little bit more of detailed little things to do this, and you want to do that, you can manipulate it just before you paint to get more different hard edges, if that's what you want to do, right? Like you come in here and just pull that back a little bit, and suddenly I've got a bit of a hard edge here, right? And that will work, and it'll stay like that, especially as you get it thin, right? Smooth that out, make it a little more natural looking. That's what I'm going for here, right? To add that little bit of a bend that your fingers just don't want to work with sometimes, right? And you get that little bit of a little more, just a little more natural looking variations in your pattern, right? This looks a little bit better instead of just doing a very fluid straight line. You get that little bit of a variation, and it just looks a little bit better, looks a little different, right? And that's a nice thing about it. So next we're going to do this other section. It's going to go like this, and it's going to come up over here. So let's grab some more. And this looks like it's going to come up to about this line before it comes over. The things like kinks in the fuselage, this stuff actually works really well. It will go into nooks and crannies and just lay down inside them very easily and very naturally. Now, once I come up to this spot, I want to get roughly here. There's our big circle. This panel down here. beside it. Okay. Go. Got a little piece here. Okay, so we got this here to come up, to come over like that. So let's make a long little noodle here. Come like this. Then come back around. This is where things can get a little tricky when you got to go down in a big crevice. Push this down inside and hold it as you come out. Like that. It will eventually naturally droop down in there. If you accidentally, like I just did, put it a little too thin, it's okay. You can always add to it. There we go. Last step is looks like there's a little bit at the front I need to do. It's not a lot. It's just kind of down here and it kind of goes like that. So I'm going to refer to the other side of the sheet to see how we're supposed to do that. So there's our sheet. There's that's supposed to look like, and I haven't really followed it faithfully here, although it's close. Got a little bit too low. And here's another good thing about this stuff. It peels up pretty easy. Okay. So if I take this, it peels up really easy. See how I just so easily peeled that off, and you can redo what you're trying to do. Sometimes it kind of folds on itself and it gets stuck, right? So I peeled it up and now I'm stuck, right? And I'm going to have to add another piece because it folded on itself, and now it's, because it's sticky to itself, you have to get more. Now that was my last piece, so I need some more here. this here, just at the front, coming off. Just in front there. Just like that. Okay, and that's about it. We can see where I went down here on this angle, and you can see this is actually coming out and coming back. So that's what I want to do here. Let's move my sheet out of my way. So I want to come way far forward here. Much farther forward. So let's peel this up. So we're not quite true to what this is supposed to be doing. Way forward. That's better. Come back down. Yes. There we go. That's better. Okay. So that is it for that. The only thing we need to do, I'm going to do the tail fin. Okay. Where'd my tail fin go? There's my tail fin. Okay, so let's just pretend it's on there now. And so I can get this lined up, get my masking lined up with this. Funny thing is, they have this really going up and down on here. On this side. Like that. You see what I mean by how it sticks to itself. Sorry, I realized I was holding it close to my chest here while I'm trying to manipulate it. Alright, so there's one side. Okay, now we're going to flip it over and we'll do the other side. The other side has a very, very similar pattern. Sometimes this stuff, you know, you pull it and it kind of makes a snap sound and it pulls apart really quick and easy. Other times you go to pull it apart and it just wants to turn into a string. It's really, I'm not sure what the technique is to have it work properly every time. It's going to be down there. That's good. So we have a unique situation where we're going to have green here, but I don't have any on the back. So it's going to be just this and don't have to match any of it up. So it's literally just like that, and that's it. And there we go, there's our masking, okay, with our putty. Okay, so we'll put this aside and we'll get some tape. Tape is our friend as far as making sure we don't get overspray. And of course, tape sticks to it just fine. Tape does the job very well. And later on, you will find it doesn't have any problem at all when it comes to removing. So this is really great for making sure you don't get overspray. And you don't get paint in areas that you don't want. It does kind of suck that you still have to use masking tape even after doing this. But it's all about the it's just eliminating overspray at this point. You're not doing the detail now. The detail will come later. Accidentally touch this, so let's put it there. So as we all know, overspray happens even in the best of times. Kind of sucks when it does, but it does. All we can do is try to reduce it, right? almost there. Almost there. Okay, we are there. We are there. Yay. Now, let's get my gloves off. We're back to scene one. Now that we have it all masked off, we're ready to apply some color. Get this off here. I don't like turning my gloves inside out. That's why, you're wondering why I'm taking my gloves off like this, because I don't like them inside out. It's just my own thing. I like to reuse them. So, yeah. Alright. Okay. We're done. We're ready for some paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the lighter green first. And I'm going to do the whole thing in the lighter green. And then I'll come back later. I'll have to pull this all off, and then I'll have to reapply all this stuff again for the darker green. Okay, so, but what I'm going to show you, what I'm going to show you guys is the lighter green. We'll do that. I'll lay this down. I'll lay that down on here, and then we'll do the darker green. Well, I'll do the darker green later on. So I just want to do a little bit of touch up on here and making a little bit of variations on our thing so the lines are not quite so smooth. Like I said before, this stuff likes to settle down a little bit, and it just makes everything look like it's not really natural looking camouflage pattern. So that's why I want to add a little variations to our lines to make it just a little more realistic looking and not quite so just smooth. You know what I mean? I don't want those smooth lines. I want them a little jagged here and there. Not totally, not going overboard, just a little bit here and there. Like this is a super smooth line. I don't want that smooth. I want that a little bit jagged. Same with along here. Just add a little, put a little jut in there. Maybe another one right here. Just a little bit. Right? This stuff is really forgiving when it comes to that. So it will show that detail when you pull it back just a little tiny bit. And that's what I love about it. So this is just a straight line, and I don't want just a straight line here. I want a little bit of a divot right in there, just like that. Nice, very nice. Notice I didn't put any masking tape here. This is wide enough. I'm not going to get overspray in here because of this, right? So that's fine. Okay. So let's grab our green. Grab our green. It's this one here. This is number 303, Mr. Color, and it's a little thick. It feels a little thick. I might have to add some. Yeah, I haven't put my little ball in there, and I haven't thinned it out yet. So let's do that first. Yeah, I haven't added any thinner to this yet. I could use a Mr. Hobby leveling thinner, but then I'd have to get it mixed in its own little thing, and I don't want to do that. So I like just putting regular thinner in the bottle. That thins it out pretty much to the consistency that I need. And I got these little tiny ball bearings that I like to add. Doink. that real good, and then use this. You might be wondering what I am doing down here every time I do take my paint and I put it down seemingly on the floor. It's this thing. Okay, it's a little dusty. Been sitting there for a while. This thing shakes up my paints real good, right? Does a really good job. Yeah, got this thing on Amazon and it works fantastic. Stirs up the paint much faster than I could just by shaking it by hand. So yeah, there we go. There we go. Nicely stirred, shaken, not stirred. And I gotta put my needle back in my airbrush. Put my tip back on. I don't need to put the end on, that's not necessary. Doing a lot of coverage, so I got filled up the cup about halfway. Clean up my edges. There we go. We're ready for some green. So let's put my table back here. Let's take my these little guys. That looks much better now. Still a tiny little bit of difference depending on the angle I look at them, but that's much better than it was. Okay, so let's I forgot all about my tail fin. What was going to be green on this? The middle needs to be masked. So before we actually get to that, let's do this. Be a little bit tricky getting in on all the little nooks and crannies that you create with your pattern. That should be good there. One more piece just right here. Okay. So you might be like, oh, I got enough room to do that, but you don't really. So I do this. Almost. 2 more pieces and we'll be done. 1, 2. Okay. So let's put this back in here. There we go. Okay, I will switch the camera and we can get started on this one. Alright, here we go. Painting cam, here we go. Yay. Starting with our light green. Okay, there we go. So there's that one. So I'm going to put that down over here. Okay. And I'm going to start on this one. Got some strings coming off of here. That's okay. Okay, so we'll start on the back here. Bear with me a second. Hello? Hello? I missed the call. Oh, that's great. Right. It's going to take a couple of passes and a few coats to get the full coverage that you want. But you get the idea, right? where things get a little tricky, because now I've got to hold this in certain places. Drying here. In fact, it's time to take this tip off. All right, I think we are done. I believe we are done. Maybe not quite, just making sure. Now we are done. We are done. All right. Change back to scene 1. Clean out my brush. And I'll show you the results. And then I'm done for the day. As I let the paint cure before doing anything more with it. The nice thing about this is that you don't have to wait too long. And another thing that's really cool about this particular putty, I don't know if all masking putties do this, but this stuff from AK Interactive, you know, you can reuse it over and over. And what really happens is the paint that you just sprayed all over it just disappears as you knead it into its blob again. I'll show you once my brush is clean here how it just does that. I don't know why, I don't know what magic it is that does it, but it just, the paint on the mask just disappears. I'll show you. When do I get my brush clean here? A lot of green paint in here. Lots of green paint. Okay. That's good enough. I'm going to show you. I'll clean that better in a little bit because I want to show you guys the results of this. Okay. I'll show you on the tail fin. Okay. Change the camera. Here we go. So this is dry now. Doesn't take long to dry at all. You'll see what I mean. The tape comes off. See, it comes off of it really easy. No problem at all. Right? Masking tape comes off this stuff super easy. Just like that. Okay? Done. And then this stuff, all you got to do is peel it back and you'll see the nice crisp lines that it leaves. No bleeding through, nothing like that. Nice crisp, there's no residue, there's nothing. It just leaves nice crisp lines. Just like that. Done. And then, so you got this, it's got some green paint on there. You knead it back up. Pull it all out, knead it. Just knead it like dough. And somehow, in some way, I don't know how, I don't know why, that green paint has disappeared. It's not on my hands. My hands are clean, but that green is gone. How? How? I don't know how. I don't have an answer to it. I don't have an answer. Why does the green paint just disappear in there? And then you just add it back to the blob in the bag, and you're done. Done like dinner. Okay? Let's grab the main thing. First, let's get rid of our tape. Get rid of all of our masking tape. It comes off nice and easy. This is where I'll probably discover where I should have put some masking tape down, or I should have pressed harder and I got a little bit of green overspray somewhere. I'm anticipating that, right? It's par for the course. That's just what happens. Overspray happens. So I'm not going to be all angry and panicky if I see I've got some overspray. That's not a big deal to me. Like I said, overspray happens. Let's just start with this wingtip, just because I feel like it. There we go. Just like that. And yeah, I do have a tiny little piece of overspray right there. No big deal. Peel this one back. Done. Peel this back. Nice, super crisp lines. It's beautiful. This stuff is really cool. Doesn't leave any residue. Like I said, it does, when you first start playing around with it on your fingers, it does feel a bit oily, which is why I wore my gloves. very nice, sharp, crisp lines. Let's get rid of our tape on the back here. It's done. Put that back. This piece too. Done. See, very nice, sharp, crisp lines. It really does a good job. You see I got a little bit of overspray inside there, it looks like. Maybe along the edge in there. Maybe not. Maybe it's just my weird eyes. And then we got one last piece. Peel that up. And done. Okay. I will change cameras. You can have a better look at this. There's what we got going on so far, guys. You see how that's a little darker along there? That's not just my eyes. There's something going on there. I'm not sure why that's darker there. Yeah, so it does leave very nice, crisp lines. No bleed through, nothing. It's great stuff. And look at the detail I was able to get through there with that little thin edge there. Yeah, it's great stuff. I do recommend it. If this is the kind of stuff you want to do, doing this camouflage stuff, it's obviously a lot easier than, you know, taking masking tape and cutting patterns in it and then laying the masking tape down. It's a similar kind of thing, but masking tape you sometimes get bleed through and you weren't trying to do. This stuff this is now probably the 4th time I've used this stuff, and it doesn't bleed through at all. I've never had it bleed through. So yeah, it's really great. Even though you saw I was spraying right directly at the edge where it was in order to get it right to the edge, and it didn't bleed through at all. And once again, I'm going to take this little blob of painted up stuff and I'm going to stretch it and knead it just like this, and that green overspray paint on this stuff is just going to disappear and it'll turn into nothing. It's gone. Now we're just pure black again, just like that. And so with that, as promised, I showed you guys the camouflage technique I'm doing. I need to duplicate it all and do the darker green. So you have seen how it's done now. You do the exact same thing to add another color. It's that simple. Okay? And that's what I'm going to do off camera, so that next time we see each other, we can get back to actual building and assembly. Okay? So that's where I'm going to leave it for today. There you go. We are getting somewhere. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Thanks for coming out, and thank you for the comments. Thank you for the recommendation and showing you guys how to paint. And yeah, that's what we're going to do, and that's what we're leaving you for today. And so thanks again for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. I know 80% of you don't subscribe, so subscribe. Come on, just do it. Do it. No, just whatever. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. No pressure, no pressure. Anyway, thanks guys, thanks for watching, and yeah, we'll see you all in the next one.